Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, three-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
What is up, everybody? We are the Uncle Puckers, Tony, Tim, Chris, and Bobby, in this glorious Sunday afternoon for most of us, Sunday night for Tony, out there in Lithuania. Boys, how is everybody doing today? Our Devils have done it. They finally got that giant gorilla off of their back, and they've won 4 in a row. And that loss to Carolina on game 1 seems like a distant memory. Let's talk about it. There's so much good that came out of that Edmonton game, out of the Florida game. Tim and I talked about the Cats game for a while, but love to hear you guys' opinion on it. Bobby, you were at the game against Florida, and then your opinion on Edmonton, because we all know Drunk Bobby was going viral over the weekend because everybody loves Drunk Bobby.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet him, though. He was out kind of doing his own thing, but he seems like a good guy. He doesn't.
He's some photos he sent me from the urinal.
He doesn't seem like a guy that, has a high-end corporate job and works 60 hours a week, drives his kid to hockey 5-6 times a week. This guy obviously has a lack of responsibilities.
He was letting his hair down.
Get on the streets, and just talk about, beer and chicken. It's kind of a lunatic, if you ask me. But, I didn't get a chance to meet him, but obviously he was enjoying the vibe. The vibe was good. I did hear what he said, and I thought we were live before, by the way. So if I'm repeating this, just, it's just the way
you are, but please repeat.
Yeah. He did make a comment about the energy to begin, and I just want to clarify. I think what he meant there was kind of within Reds. It just seemed a little slower in the beginning, and there was definitely this weird situation I'd never seen there before, because if anyone's been there, kind of the men's line is just out through the door and freaking all the way through the dining room. And there was almost no men's line till like the last hour, which was great. When he was putting down, a couple extra beers,
What do you
mean by men's line, Bobby?
You've never been in a line to jerk off
the men's
guy,
room
Tony?
line.
Yeah, the men's room line. So you said that you took it easy, though. You only had 10 beers at the time that Drunk Bobby joined the show.
He did say that, which is somebody trying to improve themselves from a few years ago, down from 15 or something. But yeah, anyway, it was just that. And then there wasn't really kind of those Devils chants. Usually the bar breaks out into it a few times, maybe one that kind of tried and fizzled out. So I wasn't out on the road a lot of times, so I don't know how that goes. But the building was absolutely awesome. I mean, from drop one, this game meant a lot. Energy was great there. So it was a really good time.
So, Tony, you finally got to sit down, watch a game with your wife, even though it was super late at night, and they actually won. Usually when this happens with one of your teams, it's a horrible disaster. So how did you feel about that Edmonton game, T?
It's awesome. I've seen all the games this year. I've only had to watch one on repeat so far. My wife has seen none. This was her first one. She'll also see next weekend because they're playing at 1:00. So for us, I understand where you guys are at, because I used to always hate the earlier games, especially the 1:00s I used to hate. For me now, it's like, I was actually just saying to my wife, because we got football tonight. I said, man, if I was a college football fan, I would have no problems, because like Saturday, it's all daytime games and stuff. Yeah. But it was awesome, man. It was awesome to not only obviously the win 4 in a row. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about. That was amazing. I will say this too. I was kind of in a shitty mood that day, because obviously Ace Frehley died from Kiss. So to me, that was a complete bummer. Sad. Yeah, complete bummer. Head injury, brain bleed. Just grew up loving Kiss. So that kind of sucked. But watching that game was awesome, because you felt like you were watching the Devils that we hoped we were going to get all offseason when we're talking about them. Jack Hughes looked awesome. Nico, and dude, I always say this about Jake Allen, and I liked him when we got him, but I had no idea the things he would do for this team. And I really feel that Jake Allen, he could be a number 1 goalie, this guy, for you if you have to. That's why when Markstrom went down, I was worried, but I also felt really damn good that we had Allen in the back. Just an awesome game. The Devils, that's what's so cool. Even I still think they could have won that Carolina game. Even there was a couple of things that made me think they could have won that. Every game I've seen so far has been impressive. And of course, love watching them early, and it was awesome.
Yeah, the Carolina game, you go back and watch it, the 4 games after, they have not looked like that at all. That was just, I think,
sleepy first period.
Yeah, always. But I think a little bit in their heads. It's the first game. It's against Carolina. And, Connor Brown, we talked about it on the last show. Connor Brown said it, right? They were trying to win the game on every shift. instead of just playing like cohesive 60-minute game, and they did that the last 4. Other than a little bit of sleepy first periods, once they get rolling, they're locking it down. I mean, this defense, the goaltending, all of it. What's that, Bob?
We've talked before about sometimes how a loss can be a blessing. I don't think anybody ever expects that to be game 1 in a season, but I think it really kind of was. I think it was just one more game with the team. Let this one go. Like, we're not doing this already.
Flush it.
Flush it, move on. Because that is, they've been a completely different team since. Very impressive.
And Tone, Tim kind of started talking about like the Markstrom thing, like even early on, a couple of games in, how Tim, I don't want to speak for you. It's not like you're not here, but like you were saying, like, I'm a little bit more comfortable with Jake than I am with Marky right now. And, okay, but Marky's the number 1. No, I'm with you now. After seeing how he's played so far, and I'm really looking forward to Dawes getting one of these starts on Tuesday or Wednesday. But the goaltending has been just phenomenal from Jake Allen. I mean,
weren't you glad last night that it wasn't Dawes? Like, I remember before the game, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking there's a game between, there's a day off. They're definitely going to be Allen. But I thought to myself too, I hope it's Allen. I don't want anybody else in there in net, right now. And
he's been stellar. No. I mean, Tim, what were your thoughts on that Edmonton game?
And kind of what Bobby said and what you referenced with Connor Brown's comments after Carolina. And I've been kind of, it's a little hard this early in the season to kind of glean anything.
Oh.
Not early this morning.
Sorry, I got confused.
To glean anything from looking at numbers, because I just kind of poking around natural stat trick just to see if there's anything I'm kind of noticing. But if you take the Carolina game out of things, we're top 5, top 10 team and pretty much everything across the board. I think Carolina is still that psychological hurdle that we got to get past, but having it be our first game on the road in that building where our last season ended, that was a tough draw. But I think they kind of regrouped, and I like the maturity of them regrouping and kind of now building this 4-game winning streak. Carolina, Columbus, and Tampa were 3rd, 4th, and 9th in home win records last year. So we took down 3 top 10 teams at home in our aside from Carolina. So that was our opening team. I think Florida, they're having some problems right now. Tampa looks like they're having some problems right now. So some early season prognostications, our schedule might not have been as difficult, but still you got to win the games in front of you. And now we've won 4 in a row. We've won a couple of good road games. We've won a couple of good home games. We're being good at home is really important. And I think that's important. But what you're talking about with the only complaint I really have right now is, thanks, Steven. Never heard a wood joke before. The only complaint I have right now is those kind of sleepyish starts. But what I've sort of noticed about them is we may be giving up a lot of zone time, letting the team, they're kind of running around or anything, but they're not getting anything dangerous. That happened against Columbus. That happened against Edmonton. Happened a little bit against Florida. Carolina was the only team that was actually getting like, oh shit type of chances. Everything's from the outside, and you can kind of see this with the Corsi versus high danger chance kind of ratio. High Corsi, low high danger chance ratio means it's kind of this bend but don't break system. But what I like is that we have Jake Allen in there as opposed to Markstrom. Markstrom's biggest issue is giving up those soft goals, and a lot of them are from distance. And our defensive structure is designed to allow more softer shots from distance to get through. And it's almost like Jake Allen's designed for a Sheldon Keefe system more so than Markstrom is. Markstrom's almost designed for a Lindy Ruff system that allows these high danger chances that Markstrom makes preposterous saves on. Jake Allen just feels a lot more steady, a lot calmer, and if Fitz is really talking extension with Markstrom, like, we shouldn't be doing that right now.
There's no need for that right now. Just let's let Marky prove himself. He's going to get an extension. I feel comfortable. We know we have Allen locked up. And Tone, I agree. If he was our number 1, I'd have no problem with that. The way he's playing, I mean, granted, how's he do with a 50 games, workload
Yes,
or
that's
55
And let's
game
be honest,
workload?
Markstrom's probably going to come. Markstrom, you give him about maybe a couple more starts in a row. I think he's going to get his shit together. And some of those soft goals you're not going to see. This is just, just an early start for him. So I do believe that would be fixed. I have no doubt about that, actually. I'm just saying that I know that when he was hurt and we saw that the other night, I was kind of like, oh, well, that's exactly what it was like, too. Like, okay, we got Jake Allen.
When you got Vanacek and Schmid back there, right? And you're basically just putting a blindfold on and hoping that these guys somebody can pull it out. Like, we don't have to worry about that right now. Markey gets hurt. Markey goes down. Like, we have such a calming influence in Jake Allen there. He's a leader in that team. And I was very skeptical about that deal, the extension that they gave him. Now I'm very happy that they gave it to him. Very happy with the way he's been playing. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to Dawes. I think you got to start Allen against Toronto. You got to go into Toronto and get that win for Keith. He deserves it. He's the 2 games last year, or what did we play him? 2 or 3 times last year, right? 3 times?
Twice
only.
I think.
And they beat us both, the home opener and then up in Toronto. So go and get him the win. Then I'd like to see Dawson against the Wild, but the schedule doesn't get any easier. The Wild is a good team. You got 2 games coming up against Colorado, which I'm really looking forward to. Like, they're probably one of the top 3 best teams right now. And Tim, it's like you said, the start of when you look at the schedule, and it's like that in every sport, you're circling those dangerous games, right? And sometimes it just doesn't end up being a dangerous game. Florida is a shell of itself right now. And but still, they didn't play down to any competition. You talk about the sleepy starts. Yeah, they haven't come off to great starts, but Florida was the only game that actually we allowed the first goal. So even though exactly what you said, they're keeping shots to the outside, they're making the saves, they're getting that first goal, and then they're just rolling. I don't know. I mean, I'm just super psyched about this team right now. We talked about it all summer. The 4 of us really liked what Tom Fitzgerald was putting out there. After really thinking about it, yeah, we didn't get the quote unquote needs that we all said that we needed, but that bottom 6 looks fantastic right now. Connor Brown.
I think you mentioned the schedule. Okay, sorry, Chris.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You mentioned the circle and the schedule, and this year's kind of confusing too because there's no easy games this year. You look at San Jose, who might people, exciting team to watch now. Chicago.
I just hope San Jose gets a win before we play them because
that's the problem, right? But these are teams that look different than they did last year. Like, you start seeing that eventually there's a light at the end of the tunnel for some of these teams. Like, Chicago's surprised me a little bit this year, what they've done so far. So, and we know as Devil fans from the last 2 seasons, so to say, you never know. Like, the ones that we were like, oh, we got fucking, I'm just going to make up a name, Columbus for 2 games in a row. Okay, that should be easy. Then you lose those 2 games, which actually I think we won those. But it's weird like that, especially this year. Some of those teams, I watched Chicago the other day and I was like, man, they could beat you.
Well, since the 22-23 season, we haven't been consistent at all, and we win 2, 3 in a row, and then we drop 2 or 3 in a row, and it's just there was no consistency. I feel like this team is we're not the young kid team anymore. We're not the bunch of kids trying to get over that hump. This is a team of established veterans now, and I think that it shows the way that they have been playing, and I think there's a lot more of that. I think Connor Brown brings a lot of it. I think Glendening brings a lot of that calming influence to this team right now. You can roll 4 lines and feel comfortable with everybody out there. This team right now is playing really, really good hockey. What do you got, Bobby?
I think that, when we all were bullish on the team in the summer, we had a lot of, very simple, what ifs, meaning like, what if Dawson Mercer just plays up to his normal capabilities? What if Jack is always Jack and healthy? You're going to get from Heischer. What if Meyer starts chipping in early? What if Brown's leadership does come into play? What if all these little pieces on that bottom 6, if they just fit better, what's going to be the end result of that? And we're seeing an early answer. Now, it doesn't mean that it can be carried on all season yet, but I also don't see any reason why it couldn't. None of us ever thought, using Mercer as an example, that he wasn't a good hockey player. In fact, to the contrary, we would usually say that he's a very heady hockey player. He does know what to do. It was more of like the execution at times. All right. And now he seemed to have figured it out in a great supporting role. You got, and forgive me for this because I'm not as like I'm literally in the score box yesterday as the game's going on. So I'm seeing things after the fact and all that. I'm seeing you guys go back and forth where there was some early, maybe Jack hate with Devils fans and stuff. I'm only seeing that from the periphery, but then I see what he does in a game like yesterday, just taking it over. Filthy goals his last few, especially that last one yesterday and the one that basically off the helmet, I guess the night before or just close. He kind of loves
Florida.
His trademark.
I love that, right? Goalie dips down just a second. He's like, poop, I'll put it right in there. But yeah, just all these pieces just kind of working together right now. And if they just keep that consistency, the point totals can very much match 22-23.
And
So
go ahead, Tim.
no, just just to talk about Mercer before kind of moving on a little bit. We talked a lot about how he's been kind of a little bit role-less, how he gets bounced around the lineup. He's a center, he's a wing, he's third line, he's a first line guy, and his versatility has been great. But I think that has affected his play, and now that he's got that, this is you're on this line, this is a defined role, and it's paying dividends. That Mercer Nico Timo line has outscored their opponents 4-1 at 5-on-5 so far. Scoring chances 26-20, high danger scoring chances 14-6. So they're really controlling the ice, and that line has really been good. And I think Timo has really looked like finally the guy for 5 straight games, the guy that we signed. Like, he's definitely that guy that we signed. The Palat Jack Bratt line. And look, we shit on Palat a lot, but like he's been fine. He had a couple chances last night where he didn't bury him. I get it. He was getting shredded on Twitter by some people, but it's like one of those chances. He had a 200-pound fucking gorilla on his back. It's like that's not exactly an easy chance to bury. But they're 2-2 in terms of goals for, goals against, and this is just 5-on-5. Scoring chances 23-12, high danger scoring chances 9-5. So that line is cooking. And you look at Glass, Brown, and Gritsuk, shots 20-13, 2-0 goals for, goals against. Scoring chances 15-7, high danger scoring chances 7-5. So our top 3 lines are really contributing well, and actually have that kind of lengthened lineup and being able to do something what Keefe said he did last night against Edmonton. He was able to match up Nico against Connor McDavid, and he was able to match up Glass against Leon, which put Jack's line against Roslovich, who they fucking Jack and Brad absolutely torched Roslovich. It was Roslovich, Frederick, and Savoie, I think. Just fucking torched these guys. And it's just nice to see Jack.
Well,
he heard us.
Let's talk about Jack for a second, because the hatred that Jack gets from some Devil fans, and I'm not even sure if they're all Devil fans. I'm sure they're probably just Jack
Ranger bots.
Right. Like, we need to stop. And okay, so he wasn't coming out of the gate scoring 3 goals a game against in the first few games, but the last 2 home games, especially yesterday. You had Jack Hughes on the ice, the same game with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, probably the top 1 and 2 players in the world. And Jack was the best player on the ice yesterday.
Yes.
Hands down. Played better than every other player on both teams. I mean, and the 2 goals were just filthy. The pass
that
from
Hopkins
Pesci,
is a motherfucker.
split that defense, that far side shot. I mean, beautiful goal. I mean, the guy is amazing when he is healthy. And Devil fans, instead of bitching about it, let's just be happy that he's on our fucking team.
You know what's weird about that too, Chris? Like, it's not just that it comes up maybe after a long period of time where you can question he gets no rope. It's like one game he doesn't show up superstardom and it's this guy's done. We were 2 games into the season and we're already hearing that. So yeah, it's quite ridiculous. And I just want to fall back on one more point with Hischier, because another thing we talked about a lot and we're seeing it is that if we got just a proper game out of Meyer and even Mercer, like, what is that going to do for Hischier's ability to take the offensive pressure off him when he really needs to? Ergo, play against Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and, just swat him out of the rink.
You look at that pass on Hischier's goal against Florida, that diving play that Mercer made to get the puck over to, that's a playoff fucking play in game 4 of the season. That was a playoff style play. He was busting his ass in that game. And I said it, I think that might've been the best Dawson Mercer game I've ever seen him play. Just an all around game. he was fantastic, and he hasn't stopped. I mean, his defense, his penalty kill, all of it. That's what we need from Dawson Mercer. If he can keep this up all year, and like you said, Timo gets going in October instead of March, this team could be a really, really tough out.
Yeah. I was sitting there last night, just kind of daydreaming. I know it's still way early in the season, but I'm like, man, what is the one? You start thinking of what Florida did last year by adding Marchand and stuff like that. I was like, what is the piece that we can use when we get closer to? And that's where Fitzgerald? This is where it all lays on, because I do think that eventually we will need one more piece of like some salty veteran.
I want to actually discuss that, because there was a question I want to ask you guys that has to absolutely do with that. But first, let's give a little shout out to DraftKings. Hockey is back, and this season DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid $300 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. Pass-through of per wagers. Tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expires in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms, responsible gaming resources, visit tkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. So 3 years ago, Devils are on a roll. That's the 13-game win streak, the 112 points, beating the Rangers in the playoffs. Wonderful year. And Tom Fitzgerald made a big move and brought Timo Meier in. Now, I believe that year he believed that not only Timo Meier, he wanted Timo on this team long term, but he thought that team has a shot to win the cup, or at least compete for a cup. And he did what he made the moves to help the team. And we bitched and moaned the last 2 years because he didn't make any moves. And the more I thought about it, the more did he not make the moves because they weren't there? Or did he not make the moves because he honestly just knew it wasn't this year? It wasn't going to happen. You can't do like what the Rangers do and just start trying to get guys in this lineup for a jump start if you know that it's really not going to help a whole lot. So that brings me to this year. And if this team continues like this, does he make a move? Does he get an extra piece? Does he really go after somebody big time? Like, what do you guys think?
To change the game, I think you have to, because there is going to be teams like right now. Yeah, everything is cool. Everything's going perfect. Everything's going to plan right now, and even better than we thought. And besides a couple injuries, but I think you have to, because there's going to be teams that are going to be built certain ways. Teams that are going to be built to, nasty teams. Right. And I do see us hitting more now. I do see some of this, but I will say there's not, the nastiness. You're going to have that for the playoffs. I don't think we have exactly that yet. So you add that guy, and I think it makes a huge difference. I mean, I get what you're saying, Chris. Last year might not have been the year to make a big move. The year before that, the goaltending situation, I kind of think there should have been a move made. But you're right about that. But I do think to compete with let's not forget, there's a good chance that when the playoffs come, if the Panthers make it, it's going to be a whole different Panther team you're going to be playing in those series. These teams are going to be built a lot different and a lot nastier. So you have to kind of be able to hang with that. And I think that that's the one thing that I always say, that I know that like a broken record, but especially when I was watching last night, I was like, man, we look good. I just wish we had this Claude Lemieux or this douchebag on our team a little bit, but hopefully that'll come.
One dickhead. One douchebag, one Tom Wilson, someone that other guys hate, And
it's
a calculated move that a GM has to make. And the two years prior, I think Fitz did fail us for the goaltending. Last year, I think he made a calculated move, saying, you know what, the marketplace this year and the assets I'd have to spend to bring someone in for a team that probably isn't going anywhere, my best move is to shore up depth. He did say he came in second on someone, which is kind of an annoying conversation and an annoying comment. But I think you look at your team and you say, do these guys deserve me to go all in or not? And when the combination of the marketplace and the team not really deserving it based on injuries, and it sucks, He made that conscious choice. Like, this is not a year to go dump Nemec in a first and all this shit for, who did
For the
Brock
same
Nelson.
result we had,
The Islanders or the Colorado gave up one of their top prospects and a bunch of picks for Brock Nelson. He did wind up signing long term there, but look what happened with all that Mikko Rantanen bullshit.
But Tim, do you think that he believed that the team would flip it early? Because we talked about, I think Florida, if I remember, they did their moves early before the deadline, like plenty of time prior. Do you think that he bought into the fact that once everyone was healthy, that the Devils were going to be able to hang when he did? Because I remember that, I think it was,
I think
Florida made early moves, right?
He saw
Colorado definitely did.
He definitely saw what we
Colorado.
saw.
They got Marchand at the deadline. Sorry, Tim, but they did get Marchand.
Seth Jones a couple days before Marchand deadline day. Like, Marchand
was. It was Colorado. Chris is right. I remember.
Colorado got Brock Nelson. Pittsburgh was selling off some guys early, but no one of any real consequence. But I think he did see what we all saw. We were screaming from the rooftops about, hey, this depth isn't good enough. We were talking about this. I was looking back to some of my old, sort of recap blogs where I go on tangents about scoring. And I was writing about these guys not fucking contributing in November. We had two depth guys that score goals, and that was Cotter and Nason. And once they dried up in January, like, we couldn't generate fucking anything. And you couple that with the fact that our power play went from 30+% to 25% in January to 19% in February. Like, our power play was carrying us. Then Markstrom gets hurt. So really, like there's just no reason to think that this team was really going anywhere. And look, that's partially on Fitz for poor roster construction. But he also can't be like, oh, Lazar's like can't walk downstairs, or what the fuck happened to Eric Halla. A lot of these things you just don't have a crystal ball to see.
I think we all knew that too last year I think we all knew they weren't going to get too far in the playoffs, us four. And I think we were kind of being homers a little bit by having more hope maybe that they were going to get further. But I think all four of us kind of knew, talking weeks before the season ended, that it was going to be, we probably were going to be an easy out. I think Chris might have even said second out.
Yeah, well, I put together those graphics, and Chris is getting the Tim treatment. Hell yeah, I'm not the only one freezing around here. No, you were for a second, and it was a glorious picture. You looked like you're making your O face.
One dickhead.
My O face.
Your facial.
Oh.
Money shot Chris.
Money shot Chris. That's a good name, Chris. They should put that in.
You know,
is that from a previous career?
It's a harsh reality as fans to sit back and think that there might actually be years where you don't, quote unquote, really go for it. You know, you want to always think that your management's sitting there going, hey, you know, let's take a swing at the cup. But the reality is it's really hard to do that. And then when you look at what you have to work with last year too, it's hard to engage in those really meaningful conversations when your own teams aren't playing up to their ability. Your own players aren't really playing up to their own ability. So you're going to take them in a year where they're not playing to just what they can normally do, and then try to subsidize that with even more. And your own players that might be your asset management, like you're basically selling low on them too. You know, so of course the other teams would be like, oh, Nemec's not doing shit, just throw him in. It's like, well, we'll pump the brakes. You know, 6 months ago, this guy was still in our very long-term future. So you can't just say, yeah, you're right, he's not having a good year, we're going to offload him. There's just a lot more, you know, that happens down the line. So, you know, all said, probably the right move, especially considering the injuries that we got. But
can I read you guys something totally
That's why I would be a terrible GM, because I would have traded everybody last year. I don't give a shit.
My whole team would be wearing Three's Company shirts.
We started the segment saying, if you're Fitzgerald, like, would you start looking and how soon? And I was going to say today. I'll start looking today. Make it happen now. Get that piece in, because now it's the time to get it. I mean, it is lower.
Here's the question.
Playoffs and everybody's price goes up.
Well, here's the question. Tim, you had something you wanted to add, and then I'm going to ask the question.
Oh, yeah, just totally. I don't want to derail the conversation, but this dude on my beer league team, like we only have 9 guys tonight, which is going to be a problem. But this guy's like, I have an injury, and I was like, what do you have? And he's like, an undisclosed non-hockey lower body injury resulting from some questionable decisions.
Jesus Christ.
So
Yeah.
even my beer league team has the fucking CIA.
That's the
managing
problem
injury
with
reports.
the Jurgens, Tim.
Well, yeah, because sometimes
the
if
road,
you
you
don't
punch
fully
yourself in the
lubricate-
face.
if you don't
I'm fine.
fully
You can't-
lubricate the gerbil, it gets stuck sometimes, and hence the lower body injury.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Oh,
So
You can't. I got to put the Jurgens away 2 games before. You got to keep the juice in the tank for the game. Don't want to have rubber legs.
At our
tonight.
age,
No,
you go right to sleep.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't want to have rubber legs. Adrian, Mickey said we can't do this.
Yeah, it was Mike
yeah.
Tyson used to keep it in the tank for 30 days before a fight.
Well, Mike Tyson should never. He should never procreate. He
maybe not-
should-
maybe
he
not
should
to-
be
maybe-
castrated, probably.
I
Maybe
wonder
not-
what it sounds
maybe
like when
not
Mike
the-
Tyson whispers in your ear.
Right?
Hey,
I'm
baby.
going to eat your face off. You're going to love it. All right. Here's the question. Like Bobby, you just said, right? Do it now. This team looks fucking good.
Right.
Where do you need a spot? Who do you know what I mean? Like, do
A
you
lot.
still think, okay, well, is that it? Because it really kind of to me seems like
You
that
gotta
might be
give
the
to
only
get.
one. And you got a team up in Buffalo who, okay, they won 2 in a row, but they're not, I don't think, going to be very good.
Alex Tucker looked pretty good in that first line, yeah.
And they haven't signed Tuck yet to any kind of long term. I still think that's a nice shiny piece that will look great right next to Jack Hughes.
Yeah, I think
Lot
there's
of-
still some teams that got to kind of figure out what they're doing and where they are. I said this during the summer and wrote about it. Like I do kind of think Thanksgiving's going to be a point where we may start seeing some early moves. The Olympics are coming, with the new salary cap structure in the playoffs, where you can't fully exploit long-term injury reserve. The trade deadline might be a bit of a dud. But it's still, 5 games in the season. Pittsburgh's, 5th in the Metro. Are they actually are they actually going to compete, or are they going to fall off a cliff? Buffalo has actually put together 2 pretty good games in a row. So are they righting their ship, or are they still going to be a mess? I think there's still some teams, that need to be on the upswing and teams that need to be on the downswing. The one team that I'm reading about, everybody is like, these guys need to fucking totally blow it up, is Calgary. Like,
Yeah, I cannot believe how bad of a start they've had. And I was just going to ask, who out of this, week and a half, first 2 weeks or so of the season, what teams have impressed you guys, and what teams have done the opposite? For me, Calgary I'm shocked that they're 1-4, and I heard somebody talking like that's what saying they completely overachieved last year. Last year, we expected them to be bad, and this year to maybe take that next step. They did it in reverse, kind of like the Devils did in 22-23, right? We had that great year, and then we don't make the playoffs. So, Calgary I'm surprised. I thought I have them, I think, as a playoff team. I thought they were going to take a next step. And the team that has really, I love watching them, is Montreal. What a fun team they are.
yeah.
What about you guys? Anybody that you've been like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting these guys to be this good. Tony, you mentioned Chicago before.
I watched the Chicago game the other day. I think they scored like 8 goals in that game or something like that. And I have a buddy who's a big Blackhawks fan, and I told him, I was like, I don't expect to see them like rolling in the playoffs or anything, but they're an exciting team to watch, and you could see, like I said, the path to, like, they're going to be good. And I think that they're going to upset some teams this year, cause some teams some trouble. As of, like, I guess Calgary, obviously the Rangers sucking, which has been a pleasure. It's still early though, so I mean,
Yeah, way
kinda-
too early. But the
yeah.
Rangers sucking has been a very, very
it's
nice,
been
nice thing. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember from our season preview, but I said the Blackhawks are going to be a lot better than people have been giving them credit for. Like Tony said, they look young, they look fun. Montreal, goddamn, when they play home games, and with that way they're playing, like, that place is electric. We might need to do a pucker. We might need to do a pucker road trip up there.
That place is
Like,
awesome, man.
Yeah, the place is ridiculous. Anaheim, I was another team
Yeah,
I was
they
pretty
look
high
good.
on. Anaheim looks like a lot of fun. They have an interesting balance of guys. Chris Kreider looks rejuvenated. Dostal is good in goal. Trouba hasn't murdered anybody yet. Gudas hasn't murdered anybody yet. But then they're young defensemen like Lacombe, Minchikov, look really good, and then kind of their forward mix is good. Utah hasn't been all that impressive yet, but I think that's coming. Best team in the league right now, though, I hate to fucking say it, is Carolina. Like they just are not. They're not losing. Like, and I don't see them losing. But a fun side part of that is Svechnikov has the ultimate cardio merchant stat line right now. He has 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, 0 plus minus, and 0 penalty minutes. It's like, what are you
has he
fucking
played?
Yeah,
What do you
4 games. 4 games played.
McDavid's first was last night.
Yeah, but Seth Jarvis.
Did he get a goal last night?
Yeah, I think so, right?
No,
No,
he didn't.
no.
He had-
Oh,
he
that
had
was
a
all
couple
Nugent
assists.
Hopkins?
Yeah,
No,
Nugent
I
Hopkins
think-
had
let me
2.
see.
and,
That guy, I tell you,
Lazar.
man, I don't get to watch him too
Lazar.
often, but
Curtis, I was glad Curtis got one.
Yeah, I
You're
I
gonna
wonder
give
if
anyone a
if
garbage
Allen let it
goal,
happen on purpose, maybe.
let it be Laser.
know. Calgary, though.
Box
Calgary is one of the worst scoring teams in the league, if not the worst scoring team in the league last year. They're having those same problems. Dustin Wolf masked a lot of Calgary's issues last year. So I'm not surprised. I've seen people shredding Sharon Govich, saying, like, what does this fucking guy even do here? And I saw a shift to his, was like, buddy, you look like so lazy. So I don't know. Those are the kind of early season teams to watch. I think Anaheim, Chicago, Montreal are the young, upcoming, fun teams to watch.
I agree with you how good Carolina has looked, but I do think that you have to kind of put it into, who have they played? Okay, they played us, they whooped us. Then they played the Flyers, and they beat them 4-3 in overtime, right? Flyers are always going to play hard, but we know that they're not that good of a team. Then they beat the Sharks, which everybody has so far. Then they beat the Ducks, which, okay, they should beat the Ducks. Yes, the Ducks are getting better, but Carolina's established. Then they played and beat the Kings in overtime. Kings are struggling right now. And that's who they played. So
that's actually very good. I didn't actually realize that. That's a very good point. So fuck them, Carolina.
But
Carolina,
they're
they
built
suck
to be good. You could see with Carolina, they're built to be good, and this is their season to lose in a lot of ways.
All right.
I mean,
If they win the next 3, I'll say yes, they're the best team in the league because their next
and they
3
should beat
opponents,
those teams.
Their next 3 opponents are all on the road, and it's Vegas, Avalanche, Stars. Go and then
Yeah, nice
they're back
3
home
there.
and they're back home against VGK. So your next 4 are against 3 of the best teams in the league,
Top teams.
and 3 of the top teams. In the West.
I have a gambling future to put in. Thank you for that's actually a very good point. Point taken on Carolina. Fuck them. They can suck a dick.
And other than Columbus, we have played all playoff teams. One team that's won the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, another team that's won the Western Conference 2 years in a row. Devils have had a much harder schedule than Carolina. And
Columbus is frisky, man. Jesus.
They are frisky, and they're going to be in there. They're going to be in it all year. I think they're good. They're a really good team. They're a tight team. I like the way that they play. I like that. That's another stadium I'd love to go visit because they have a lot of energy. It looks like a fun place to see a game.
If you want to put a futures bet in on something that may be flying under the radar, I haven't seen what the number is today, but do it now before the season gets too deep. Jack Eichel for a Hart Trophy.
Well, I have him from a Hart Trophy on my.
Do you?
Yeah, I took Jack Eichel for the MVP.
Yeah, he's been fucking shredding it. Like I've been watching a couple of Vegas games.
Wrong Jack, is that what you said?
Yeah, wrong Jack. Sorry.
Nice.
But Jack Eichel might have some of the best hands in the league. Like just watching him handle the puck, I'm just like, he's so smooth but quick also. Like when he's on the right or the left flank on the power play, he's so fucking smooth with the puck. I can't stand it.
I gotta say this about Eichel, and I don't mean it literally as in this year, but about time, right? Because it felt like we waited forever for that guy to pop, and he was always supposed to be what he is now. But it felt, it was years.
When he was in Buffalo, he got the injury. Then he wanted to get that experimental surgery, and Buffalo didn't want him to get it, and that's what the whole rift was about. And ended up where he gets traded to Vegas. Vegas says, you want to get the surgery, get the surgery. He gets it. He's out for the year, but they were smart enough to see that, in hindsight, hey, this guy's going to be with us for a long time. We can do without a year. And he comes in, they win the cup. So Buffalo, how many fucking players have gone to play amazing hockey, win championships,
And win
left
cups. Yeah.
Buffalo.
Was it? So
Oh.
it's Eichel and Reinhardt are the two
Reinhart
big ones
for Hagee.
For Hagee. Who else is there? There's got to be other guys there.
There's definitely more. They've gotten rid of so many people I don't even know anymore. But Eichel has been fantastic and just a perfect fit in Vegas. I'll tell you one thing about Vegas. I kind of feel bad for Akira Schmid right now. So Aiden Hill's hurt. He's getting all the starts. He's not playing great. But they brought in Carter Hart. So Carter Hart can't play until December, but basically Akira Schmid knows I can play. I'm playing until December because once this guy's in, I'm gone. And that's got to be a really shitty spot to be in, just knowing that it's only a matter of time, no matter what, that you're gone. You're bringing in this fucking piece of shit, and poor Schmidt's going to be sent to Henderson or, who else?
Yeah,
Gotta
it's
light
not
it up,
like
I
he's
guess,
going
is
to
the
be
only
given a lot of shots to show himself and kind of beat him out for it, So,
No, they're bringing him in to replace him. Then that's pretty much So.
I saw a funny stat the other day that just scrolling through Twitter and it was Akira Schmid has a
Large head.
968 save percentage in relief. So when he comes in to bail a goal, he has 968 save percentage. When he starts games, it's 899.
So whoever your backup is at the time, have them go in, one whistle, pull them out. Just get your e-bug in there for the first whistle, get him out, and put Schmid in. And
that's honestly, I think we talked about this with Vanacek and Schmid, because Vanacek had like good first period numbers, but then would collapse, and Schmid had good like closer numbers. It's like, let's go with a starter closer rotation. Fuck
there you go.
The combo.
So my desire for Alex Tuck is still the same. He's so big and handsome.
Yeah, and I think Buffalo is going to actually turn a corner, though. They looked pretty freaking good yesterday. I mean, I know Florida's struggling and stuff, but they played a really good game, and just Tage Thompson's a goddamn animal. So yeah, I think they might turn around. But this year, it's weird. I know it's super early, and I'm sure everything is going to end up slotting out kind of like it should. But there are a lot of teams, especially in the Eastern Conference, that in the Atlantic, especially like Detroit is playing some really good hockey. Montreal's playing really good hockey. You got Buffalo kind of popping up. You got a team in Toronto who just got your fucking goaltender just called out one of your superstars. Did you guys see this?
I don't think I saw it. No.
So he got run over and nobody came to his fucking defense.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I did hear I forget who it was. Somebody on NHL Network made a good point about why whoever was next to Stolarz when he got decked. So he gets drilled, and Stolarz gets up, and the defenseman's standing right next to him. Stolarz jumps on the guy, starts wailing on him, but the penalty was coming, and the defenseman didn't do anything just because of the penalty is about. I'm not going to risk losing this power play. Let's get him score a goal and take the number, and we'll get him. It's a long season. But Stolarz, of course, got another penalty by jumping him and stuff. But then the game went to overtime. Nylander got caught in the neutral zone. I forget who it was that was bringing the puck up, and he was skating backwards in the neutral zone. Big no-no. By the time he crossed over, the forward was past him and scored a game winner on Stolarz. And Stolarz comes out, and I guess it was an interview, and he basically, I'm paraphrasing, but this is overtime. You can't let shit like that happen. Like we got to, basically saying Nylander's got to be better than this. You guys are letting me get fucking run over. You're getting, odd man rushes all the time. And he was pissed off. But like, your goaltender just called out one of your freaking superstars. How's that going to play out? So Toronto looks like they might be having some problems going on up there, which is perfect for us.
Good. Perfect timing for us.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't care if there's a penalty coming up. Like, I get it. Like, if there's like a scrum or someone lays a big hit on a skater, you go after the goalie. I don't give a shit. Like you run the goalie over. Like, I will take a penalty to defend my goalie. Like, I think situationally with skaters, you kind of pick and choose those battles sometimes, but standing up for guys, and I think for Stolars, it was kind of the accumulation of like he
Yeah.
got run over, and then that overtime goal. Look, he's also could have stopped that overtime goal. Like let's not kid ourselves there, but yeah, like it just the effort and the accountability, they need to step that up. Maybe Mitch Marner wasn't the big softy that they thought he was, and was the glue guy in the locker room.
It might have been. And it kind of seems like so far that might be the case. And the other thing with the Leafs, like, I agree with you. Like, you go after, especially when your fucking number one is out. Like, Stolars is and Wall's gone. Like, you only have this guy, and you're going to let him get fucking run over like that. No, that's – and I think the Devils are – I think they're going to go into Toronto and whoop them. I really do.
Hope so.
The way that they're playing, I don't want to jinx anything, but – I don't see why they can't be 5 in a row.
Stolars has had a couple of exceptional games. Like he made when they played the Rangers, like he won that game for Toronto, and he did that to us last year. Remember, there was a 1-0 game.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
That was the beginning of us being like, maybe these shutouts are going to be a problem, and our scoring isn't very good. That was kind of like the start of that. Like, this doesn't seem great for us. So yeah, hopefully it's a different, we have a different team, I think, but we all still have a little bit of PTSD from the collapse last year. And just the way we've looked the past couple of years, because we started out great last year too. But I just think it's a different starting out great. Last year
but the tests just keep on coming for us, and that's why I'm actually very optimistic about this, because we just passed quite a few of them, aside from the Carolina, right? We've passed a couple of tests, and now it's got to win one for Keefe over in Toronto, and just for psychologically to beat them. And I think this is the year it's in line to do that. And then not only are we talking about 4 wins, we're talking about 5 wins in a row. Like,
and then 6 against Minnesota. We just got to
4. We're being a little selfish here.
So some of those sexual hurdles, beating Tampa on the road, beating Florida at home. Columbus is the only test that we haven't failed, getting 4 in a row. Now it's winning 1 in Toronto for Keefe. Then the next day, it's going to be winning on a back-to-back against Minnesota with travel. And so, getting past these psychological hurdles, get that stone rolling downhill.
The first back-to-back, having Dawes in net, go out there and win it for Dawes, help them out. And then after that, you get on Friday, you come back home and you play the Sharks. And hopefully they get a win, because if they're 0-7 or whatever.
Yeah, you hate to be that team, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this doesn't seem like the team that so far will be playing down to their competition. And then you get a home and home against the Avalanche. That is going to be 2 great teams. I love that we're both playing really good hockey. We get them nice and early. And unfortunately, Blackwood's not there, because I would love to beat him, but he's injured right now. Surprise. But you do get Scott Wedgwood, who's been playing
great.
Good.
I picked him up on my fantasy hockey.
Yeah,
team.
he's playing good.
He made himself a career, that guy, because he was a dude that when he first, the Devils first got him up, you really just pictured a guy you would only see for a little bit, but he's really found himself a way to. The guy's been around for a while. Dallas, I mean,
And
I think we waived him and traded him in his 2 different stints with the
He came back again, didn't he, too? He was there twice.
Yeah, we waived him, and then we traded him after we waived him. Goalies are voodoo, man. It's hard. What was I going to say? I have something super important and very clever to say, but I forget what it was, and I got to stop taking gummies.
Oh, you take gummies?
Of course I do.
Have you taken them already today?
What, you think I get through life fucking sober?
Is there it's 5 o'clock somewhere for gummies? Is that for them? It's fine. Like
it's
whatever.
11 in the morning in Lithuania. That's what I say to myself.
It's 7:20 in the evening.
Well, then I definitely would have eaten one. When I eat my gummies, it depends on like I'm not going to eat one in the afternoon. Like, even though I'm home all day, like, I'm with my wife and kids and shit, I'm not getting fucked up. But at night, as long as one of my teams isn't playing, because I usually get like, if I get pretty high, if I eat like, a couple, and I'm by the 3rd period, I kind of don't care what's going on. I'm just like, I'm not paying attention, even though I'm watching it, like nothing's registering. So I'm like, all right, I can't watch the games and stuff high. I just can't. So I don't do that anymore.
I
So
have
now
to.
just-
As a Raider fan, by halftime, I need to be dosing up on whatever I can, drinking, smoking joints. It's like it's the only way to
you
get
guys,
through.
we got big games coming up, Tone. You got
Oh.
me and you are playing the Super Bowl teams this year. You got the Chiefs and we got the Eagles.
Of course, the Chiefs now are starting to look like a little bit like the Chiefs, unfortunately. Yeah, it's, I don't have I never go against the Raiders, but I don't have the highest of expectations today. But I'm
What do
hoping.
you guys got going on the rest of the afternoon before we wrap this up? Unless anybody has more Devil stuff they want to talk about.
Yeah, one thing I did want to bring up. We were texting about it. I just want to throw it out there on the show just to see, if any of our listeners would be interested. We've kind of talking about getting a little pucker outing going at a Devils game. Just seeing getting the vibe of what people think about that, if they'd be interested in joining us for a game. We could do like a group outing type of thing, just seeing what that kind of looks like.
Great.
Well,
Now I
the
can sit
game-
right next to them and they wouldn't recognize me.
Well, I mean,
Bobby, I hope you.
Drunk Bobby.
I hope
Drunk
you.
Bobby.
That guy.
so
Bob, I
you
hope you
mentioned
put
the
stickers all over that area.
There you go. So they'll definitely know.
I say some for Tony. I just got to figure out how to mail shit out of the country.
Hey, I'll be there in February, man.
So
Okay.
you mentioned though the Vancouver game in December.
Mhm.
Which I think is a good one. That's a good one. So yeah, if anybody's interested, maybe we'll see about getting one of the. What do you have to do to get the? How many people you need for the box and stuff?
I have no idea. We'd have to
No.
price that out. It called
Yeah,
season ticket.
there are different
person.
size boxes, and I mean, you can
Yeah.
even get secondhand tickets. and
Yes,
get
there is. Yes,
Get
there
a
is.
Some
Yeah.
are like hallways. Some are like.
Hot dog and a hole.
Bring in the dancing.
Oh, that
glove.
turned quick.
All right.
drunk
So
Tony.
we know that boxes are different sizes. One for
Hey,
everybody.
it's okay. It's okay. They sometimes they fit, sometimes they don't. Yeah,
One for 12 guys, one for
we don't
20.
need that, but
We always notice the look of disappointment in their faces as we zip up.
with sweets.
Right.
It's
Wait, that's it.
you reserve the suite, but it's also like what food and beverage is included and is at an incremental cost and all that type of shit. So
But
because we're
if
not doing
anybody's-
this without snacks and booze.
Is it
No,
only
we
males?
should
Tim?
definitely do it though. It'd be fun. What'd you say?
What was
Tom?
that, Tone?
Is it only males? Letting females come too.
No, I
We're
think
letting
females-
we're letting women come.
Oh, so it's not like the usual pucker party we have.
No.
if we have
No.
a female,
This is the
yeah,
pucker party.
this is a
is
pucker
it.
party with boxes of all sizes.
All right.
If
so,
we actually have any female fans, I'd be fucking shocked.
yeah, I would love to hear from one of them at least. I mean,
Oh,
that'd be
one.
nice.
Even if you're a new
Yeah.
female, we don't care. Come on,
yeah,
say hello.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're-
Well, maybe
even if you
they
just-
saw drunk Bobby and we're like, that guy's fucking good looking.
I gotta
Yeah,
see this.
even
Where
if
is
you
this
just
at?
identify as a
Good,
female, we
Tony.
wanna hear from you.
So there's
It's on the
this
webpage,
website-
isn't it?
There's a website called YouTube, and you go to the Uncle Puckers. That's UNCLE space PUCKERS.
DA.
Don't forget the S. It's important because it's plural.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you should find Drunk Bobby.
The
Drunk
other
Bobby
cool thing
shorts
is
are out
you can
there.
go to our actual website, theunclepuckers.com, which does exist, Tony. And from there, you can click on all our socials. It's amazing how much content's
It's
out there, Tony.
amazing.
Your voice and your brand is all over the web. Just
Yeah.
click.
Yeah,
There you
you
go.
should
Yes.
start following
out.
it.
Yeah.
So,
You're probably
Pay
the
attention.
most
Sounds
popular
great.
of all of us.
I
Oh
built
wait,
this
so
thing
this is
like
a Devil's
3 years
podcast
ago.
we're doing here.
And
Yes.
I'm in writing right now, just a little week 1 recap just for the Pucker site, not for All About the Jersey. So I will be sending that through to the unclepuckers@gmail.com to post
Gotta
on
go where
their
the
site.
money is, Tim. We appreciate
all
it.
right. All right.
So
So
my Tris, I wore my jersey. You got me last night, actually, during the Devils game. The
Oh,
Nico
nice.
jersey. Yes,
Got
I wore
my-
that.
got my
they
JJ
got
third
Vikings.
jersey on right now.
Yeah, I got-
so ready for that. You're all set. Oh, Tony froze up. As
Got
he
our
was about to get
first,
naked, he completely froze up.
First middle
Somebody
school
else is
hockey game
freezing.
tonight.
I love this.
That
I love my
season
new
starting.
computer.
I'm sorry, Bobby. What was that?
Sorry about
Said we got our first middle school hockey game tonight, so that season's starting now,
Oh,
which
nice.
I'm really excited about.
You
because
got
this
that all
season goes-
sorted out?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're fine now. We signed up to do game 1, and then they threw together a last minute practice. We had a half day, and we just told him, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm good for practice." So yeah, it's pretty much a done deal, and it's great because this season goes like 6 more weeks past the club season, so I get more hockey.
Nice.
There you
Do you have any of
Yeah,
those hockey
boy.
dads, Bobby? There, like the real douchebag dads.
Actually, our whole core is pretty cool. They're some good guys. We've been hanging out. We had our first tournament, so we were, all kind of bonding together for a few days there. And yeah, they're a good group. So we're
Nice.
fortunate.
Nice,
Good kids
nice.
too. That's the most important thing. The kids are awesome.
Yeah, that is the most important thing. Kids, parents, families, like, you can tell if an organization's pretty toxic with how the parents and kids are. If they're fucking little assholes,
Yeah,
that's a major red flag.
Well, I'll tell you real quick then. When we're at the tournament, I don't think I brought it up on the air, but a lot of these rinks are pretty small. There's 2 or 3 bleachers, right? Did I mention about the people standing at the glass?
No.
Oh, yeah. So we're playing this team that came down from Long Island. They were the Bruins. And it says, via the facility, like on every other board or so, it says do not approach the glass because there's only bleachers of 3 behind. So anyone standing not on the ends, you block everything.
Yeah.
So we asked nicely. We went over and said it before. And they were just like, oh, yeah. They're like, that's okay. No, we're not moving. We don't care. Like straight up to like the whole team, like we don't care. We're like, you entitled little piece of shit. Like
Fucking Long Island
request, not ours. Like it says it right there. So some of the dads like, what should I do? Should I go over? I'm like, you're not gonna do anything. I'm like, just gonna let it go. I'm like, let the rink handle it. But yeah, it's unfortunate that you got those kind of douchebags that come down and like, ruin it for everybody.
There's so many of them now. People
Long
just
Island
have no
once
filter
again
anymore.
Yeah, proving that we should just saw them off and just send them out into the ocean.
Or hats they have on
thing.
And I got to tell you, as a reminder of the difficulty of this game that we all love. Yesterday, when I was in the box, we had a kid go down. The scores
went down in the box.
Jesus Christ, Bobby!
Phrasing.
What are you guys doing out there?
The hell's going on here, man?
I feel
Bobby's in boxes
properly
placed.
The context of this show is hockey. Last I checked, right? So. Anyway, very somber moment as a kid went down, and we actually had a suspended game with 10 minutes left in the third because it took about 30 minutes for the ambulance to come and get the kid off the ice.
What happened to him?
Holy shit!
It was total incident. Most people didn't see it because the play was over here, and then we just looked and there was a whistle blown for a kid over here. So it was incidental contact between him and like 2 of our players, just kind of not seeing each other and hitting. But the way the kid fell was very awkward. So he kind of landed on his head and his hand. By the end, he was shaking his head, squeezing his hands, and moving his feet. But the protocol is the refs came over and said, can you get up and go to the bench? Because if you can't, then you have to stay here till we get the stretcher. And the kid opted for staying down. And then he said, my neck hurt. So the first aid person in the scorer's booth with me kind of came out, and she just had to like hold the head just as precaution.
Right.
It seems like everything's okay. I heard broken clavicle too. I heard a couple things. But bottom line is, this is an 11-year-old kid just skating through the zone, probably head down, and it's more about the way he fell than an actual incident on the ice.
Scary shit, man.
It's scary. That shit is scary.
So just a reminder, man. This is a really scary game out there. So imagine if that was your kid. Like that's frightening.
That'd be the last hockey game my kid played. I'll tell you that.
No.
Nope.
You should have seen the way I fucking ate shit on the
like,
boards the other night.
Do you know how to play?
I got
chess?
knocked out for a second.
I'll teach you that.
I'll tell you what, though, this kid had he had all the humor. By the end, he was asking the AMTs, because once he started moving and talking and joking with them, he's like, "You're not going to cut my jersey, right?" They're like, "No, we don't need to talk. We don't need to cut your jersey because you're talking. Oh, cool. Don't cut my jersey." So,
you snap my neck. Right? You snap my neck.
Get away from the glass next time.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up because we got 30 minutes till football starts, and I'm looking forward to it. Yes, play tennis and golf. It's much less dangerous. And Stephen Engel did say that we should start a "We Want Quinn" chant at the Vancouver Devil game when they come. And so we're gonna wrap this up. Huge, 4-game win streak, man. This has been fun so far, and it's so nice to be able to come on, do a show, and not spend an hour bitching and moaning about everything. This is so nice. I want to keep it going. We'll be back in a couple of days. Not sure exactly when, but we will put it out there on social when the next show will be. Probably, I don't know, Tuesday at some point, Wednesday.
When's the Toronto game?
Wednesday night. No, Tuesday night.
Tuesday night or Wednesday?
Tuesday night. They play Tuesday and Wednesday because the Vikings play again on Thursday. So
now that
have worked out their schedule.
Now that this team is good, I'm like, I want to watch the next game already. Like,
I know.
Can we accelerate things? But it's good. And that's also conversely, that's why I'm happy the Ravens have a bye week this week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah, you guys will get healthy.
Play at 1.
So we'll see. But the guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us again. This is always fun, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, boys. And wherever you're watching us, listening to us, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, a download, a 5-star review, a positive comment does help the little podcast that could, which is us. I'm Chris.
Rest in peace,
Tim,
Ace Freely.
Tone.
Tell your
Rest
friends,
in
tell your
peace, Ace.
family, go to YouTube, watch Drunk Bobby.
There you go. Drunk Bobby is
Can't wait to meet him.
fantastic. We love
Go
him.
to the webpage and see it. Right, Bobby?
What's the webpage, Tony?
www.
Get out of here.
And if you want more Tony, you can find him at the Tampa Morgue, which is his other podcast that he does. It's all very horror movie and metal centric music. Very cool. He's got tons of shows. And if you got nothing to do for 4 or 5 hours, because that's how long his shows are, sit down, relax.
Rumor is he prepares for that one, so I heard it's
Yeah,
better when he gets
that's
prepared.
the rumor.
He was
He's
ripping
let down.
hits and drinking beers. He's
I'm sure he would
just
know if he had a
fine for this.
website. Tampa Morgue.
Do I?
All right, boys, we're out of here. We'll see you guys when we see you. Take it
Peace.
easy.
All right,
Later.
suck a dick, Val.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Guys were talking about the fathers on the glass. I wanted to be like, do they all have red hats on?